Presumptive President Bongbong Marcos is now creating his transition team as he prepares to return to Malacanang. With another Marcos set to become president, calls to preserve books on martial law are circulating online. COMELEC declares failure of elections in some parts of Lanao del Sur. The Philippines wins its first gold in the 2021 to 2022 Southeast Asian Games. And the Ateneo Blue Eagles escaped the UP Fighting Maroons to force do or die for its UAAP 84th Men's Basketball Championship. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Charles Lejano. Starting today's newscast with Ferdinand Marcos Jr. forming a transition team as he officially claimed victory in the 2022 presidential elections. Marlene Alcaide with the details.
While no official proclamation has been announced yet, spokesperson Attorney Vic Rodriguez has declared that Marcos Jr. is the 17th president of the Philippines. In a statement, Rodriguez noted that the former senator is ahead by 16 million votes over rival Vice President Leni Robredo. His camp is now in the next phase, forming a transition team.
He called for a meeting late this afternoon para makapagsimula na rin siguro nung proseso nung pagbubuo ng kanyang transition team at mapag-usapan na yung mga plano sa hinaharap.
He also said that some personalities have expressed interest to join Marcos Jr.'s cabinet. Among those is Agriculture Secretary William Dar.
I am offering my services to the country and to the new leader.
But sure to take a seat in the cabinet is Marcos Jr.'s running mate, presumptive Vice President Sara Duterte. Marcos Jr. has confirmed that Duterte Carpio will sit as Education Secretary. For News 5, Marlene Alcaide, we are One News.
Some people fear that presumptive President Bongbong Marcos will attempt to revise historical records regarding his father, the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos. Netizens are now calling to preserve books, movies, and other reference materials related to the brutal martial law. Critics encourage Filipinos to save copies of the books about the dictatorship to protect the country's history. Some even compiled a list of references that can be saved to be reminded about the atrocities committed during the Marcos regime. These include books like Primitivo Mijares' Conjugal Dictatorship and Raisa Robles' Marcos Martial Law, Never Again. A historian assures Filipinos that contingency plans are in place as concerns are raised about sources related to the martial law era. Christopher Pacion, museum researcher of the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, said this in a tweet. And Pacion was replying to another Twitter user, urging historians and librarians to secure primary sources and documents on the martial law years. Meanwhile, local publisher Adarna House announced that they're offering a 20% discount on children's books about martial law. Featured titles include Equipo Plantel's Ito ang Diktatura and Agriveras si Junjun nung bago ideklara ang batas militar. Pre-order period for the hashtag Never Again book bundle lasts until March 22. The PPCRV says they have yet to find discrepancies in their validation of electoral returns so far. The group is also warning the public against misinformation spreading online regarding the parallel count. Camille Samonte has the details.
Contrary to claims, the PPCRV said that it has yet to see any issues with its count. Spokesperson Attorney Van de la Cruz said discrepancies only happen when automated results do not match physical copies of election returns.
Doon sa hindi po ito nagtutugma. Sa doon, i-share din sa media, sasabihin namin na merong, una, we will tell you kung ano yung accuracy percentage.
But the poll watchdog said mismatches are possible. This happens when there are typographical errors in the manual encoding of ERs in their system. ERs go through a two-step validation, where at least two volunteers separately encode a physical copy of the ER. The system will then assess if the encoded ER from the two volunteers match.
Ngayon, pagka ganun, so sasabihin namin, pwede bang pakicheck uli para lang siguraduhin na tama yung pinapasok natin. And our system detects that. Kaya hindi tatanggapin natin ng system natin.
De la Cruz noted that the two-step verification of manual encoding is important to minimize human errors. So far, the PPCRV has received over 18,000 physical election returns. Over 9,700 are from Luzon and close to 9,000 are from NCR. Those from Visayas and Mindanao are expected on Thursday. The group warned the public from spreading misinformation online after claims of chaos inside the command center circulated online.
And I really want to caution the public. Panahon po na maghinahon at intayin ang mga trabaho ng COMELEC, ng mga iba-ibang mga citizens' arms, at ginagawa po natin ang trabaho natin.
Camille Samonte, We Are One News.
Some areas in Llano del Sur are set to hold special elections as the COMELEC declared failure of elections in 3 municipalities. Shaila Francisco with the report.
This was the scene at Tubaran, Lanao del Sur last Monday. Trucks carrying vote-counting machines and ballot boxes were blocked as rival camps argue where the VCMs and ballots should go. As a result, many were unable to cast their votes. In a resolution by the Commission on Elections, failure of elections was declared in 14 barangays in Lanao del Sur. Of this number, 12 barangays in Tubaran were flagged due to violence, threat, and intimidation. Official ballots, meanwhile, were stolen in Barangay Ragay and Butig, resulting in one policeman being stabbed. While violence resulting in the damage of VCMs and ballots caused the failure of elections in Barangay Pindolona and Binidayan. The affected barangays will be holding special elections on May 15. But this can still change, as officials will have to reprint ballots and prepare the security plans in these areas. COMELEC will also have to retrain personnel as the PNP will be designated as Special Board of Election Inspectors. COMELEC explains that failure of elections can only be applied in limited cases, and that such cases do not include reports of defective VCM.
Ang batas to declare a failure of elections. Unang-una dyan, such that the acts of God, the force majeure, terrorism or violence or any other analogous causes resulted to the point that there were no elections, meaning walang nakaboto. Okay? The second instance, yung sinasabi ko nga po kanina, merong nakaboto but there was failure to elect, again, based on the same circumstances. Doon po sa mga nangyari, perhaps there might be a delay. Nagkaroon ng delay, pero nakaboto sila. They were able to accomplish their votes and then later on, tumagal lang, those votes were counted, as you could see, and these votes were ultimately canvassed.
8,295 voters will participate in the special elections. All positions will be voted upon, which is why it is not yet sure whether this could affect canvassing for national positions.
As always, the rule, pagka may proclamation, will it affect the votes? Kung hindi makaka-apekto po ang votes ng precincts na ito, pinapayagan po ng batas na mag-proclaim. Ganyan po ang rule. Importante, i-add pa rin natin to dun sa total count and the total canvas. Hindi naman nabaliwala. Regardless kung makaka-affect or hindi, those voters there cannot be disenfranchised. That's the first goal.
Meanwhile, canvassing for the senatorial and party list races continues at the COMELEC headquarters. Almost half of the 173 certificates of canvass or COCs have been canvassed. Based on the partial and official count by the National Board of Canvassers, actor Robin Padilla leads the senatorial race. These numbers are based on the 8 COCs canvassed on Tuesday, as the NBOC has yet to compile the additional votes from yesterday's session. COMELEC is still hopeful it can proclaim senators and party lists by the end of the week.
We're hoping we can finish everything for example, by Saturday, we can have the proclamation by Sunday.
The session of the National Board of Canvassers has been suspended and will resume later at 3 p.m. Shaila Francisco, We Are One News.
In sports, Team Philippines has bagged its first gold in the 31st Southeast Asian Games ahead of the formal opening of the biennial event on Thursday. Mary Francine Pajos delivered the country's first gold on Wednesday after a victory in the women's semi-tunggal single event of Pencak Silat. Pajos, who was a runner-up in the 2019 SEA Games, exacted her revenge to dethrone Puspa Arumsari as the Filipinos scored 9,960 to defeat the Indonesians 9,945. So far, the Philippines already has 1 gold, 3 silvers, and 4 bronze medals in the event. And the UAAP men's basketball tournament is going all the way to a Game 3. This after Ateneo forced a rubber match against the team that defeated them after more than 3 years of sweeping their games in the league. The Ateneo Blue Eagles survived the UP Fighting Maroons to pull out a 69-66 win, taking both teams to a do-or-die tomorrow. Here are the stories to watch out for later today. The government is scheduled to release its data on the first quarter GDP at 10 a.m. The PBA Draft Combine continues in Mandaluyong this morning, ahead of the rookie draft on Sunday. And Miss World Philippines will have its official presentation of its 2022 edition in Parañaque this afternoon. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us again later at 9 a.m. as we monitor the day's biggest stories from sunrise to sundown. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We're One News.